She was being interrogated in relation to a case that was reopened after being closed in 2019. Anyone that links this death with the interrogation will be prosecuted straight away. And I find that as a chilling effect on freedom of speech. We're talking about Miss Barbara Skrzypek. She was the chief of staff for the leader of opposition party Law and Justice, Jarosław Kaczyński, for almost 30 years. She was also active in the opposition against communism. And sadly, she died last Saturday, and the autopsy was just released yesterday that it was a massive heart attack. And she was asked to come for interrogation by the public prosecutor's office. And she was being interrogated in relation to a case that was reopened after being closed in 2019, and the case that relates to Jarosław Kaczyński. And what is significant about this case is that she was being interrogated on Wednesday, 12th of March. Within the public records, it states that it was 4 hours with a short break for reset. Her solicitor asked to be a witness during the interrogation, but they refused. And it was the prosecutor and 2 solicitors representing the accuser in the case. So she was interrogated only as a witness to the case, but she couldn't come with anyone. She couldn't have anyone with her during interrogation. So this is the first point where, whether you are pro-opposition or not, you might start feeling very uncomfortable. Why was it denied to her? Then the second point is that there is no recording of the interrogation, only written transcript. So there are no tapes. And what concerns me about this case is that as soon as the news reached the public on Saturday that she died, and it was a sudden death, and it was not known that she's got any previous illness that, it could just happen within these few days that she died, obviously everyone got very emotional on the social media and so on. And what shocked me was that the main statement from the prosecutor's office, first of all, expressing condolences to the family and so on, then stating that it doesn't have any relation to the interrogation, it was done in a civilized way and so on. But then it states in the statement that anyone that links this death with the interrogation will be prosecuted straight away. And I find that as a chilling effect on freedom of speech. I don't think in a democratic society you should issue warning like this straight away. It's like it's within few hours of the announcement that she died. This creates a chilling effect on freedom of speech and people being able to try to understand what really happened. And we might not like the form they want to talk about it. And of course, the coalition government, they might say, oh, yes, but this is using a death of someone in a political game. Fair enough. But that was done before by the government in power now. They were doing that during the 8 years of the opposition party being in power. So in a sense, I think if you want to play this game, you need to cool down because you first did this example of how to play the deaths of people in the political sphere. So this is not an argument for me. So first of all, I think the emotion should be taken down and not threatening people with, don't you discuss this case, don't you dare linking it. Because it creates this precedence that then you know that if you are just an ordinary citizen, how can you express yourself if you know that they will come after you straight away? Because it's much easier to go after ordinary citizen than someone, in a public office or maybe, having funds for legal protection. So I think it needs a proper investigation.
Yeah, I know. Of course, we'll see what the investigation turns up and whether this did have anything to do with the interrogation or the interrogation overstepped its bounds is obviously to be decided. But regardless of that, Richard, this kind of fits at least something of a pattern of the zeal and the kind of aggressiveness with which the current government under Donald Tusk has gone after representatives of the previous government.
Yeah, but the picture goes beyond Poland. Yeah, we already mentioned Germany in the beginning, that how it's basically an overreaction of the current ruling groups that we can witness it. We can watch at European level what happens, how heated some European Parliament debates are currently that are completely unnecessary. Or watch to the Romanian elections, what happened there. We have already discussed this also here. So this is it's a very heated, polarized atmosphere all across Europe, and I feel that there is less willingness from the political groups that previously had power to actually obey proper procedures, but also in many regards the just basic political culture. Yeah, so maybe everything was legal in her case. I have no insight into the Polish case, but as you mentioned, Agnieszka, the communications from the judiciary made it worse.
Yes.
So this is a typical sign of an overreaction that was uncalled for. Yeah.
Yes, and additionally, the prosecutor that was chosen for this case, she was known from having very harsh statements on the social media, very harsh statements against the Law and Justice Party. So whether in the public sphere it wouldn't create this image that she's going to be impartial and she will just try to get to the bottom of the things. And then also considering the witness, Barbara Skrzypek, how did she feel going to this interrogation, knowing that she's going to be interrogated by a person that has been so vicious in her social media post, and then that she cannot enter the interrogation with the solicitor representing her? She's going to be with the prosecutor that publicly was stating things that, we need to restore democracy with militant democracy, and, we do whatever it takes to expose the abuse of power and the Law and Justice Party and so on. And then two solicitors representing the person that was the accuser.
And then this concept, actually, Richard, is something that we should probably pay more attention to, some of the concepts that are invoked by the Tusk government, such as this idea of militant democracy, not least because we know, and we've actually done some work to expose that there are lots of NGOs looking at the Polish case and have actually been involved intimately in setting up the kind of theory and the practice around the Polish case for possible regime change style operations elsewhere.
Poland was is still very important for the European Union. It's one of the biggest member states, strategic position on the eastern flank, and so it was from a EU perspective or from a European mainstream's perspective. Losing Poland to the PIS government in 2015 was a complete shock, and it was a continued annoyance, obstacle. It was a very, very huge obstacle. And their approach was that they want to put political pressure on it. So Article 7 and other EU didn't work, and now they are using this NGO work they try to bypass the national governments. Or now with Tusk they have an ally at home, even though who is boosting it. So they now want to go directly into the Polish society and change it and form act against democratic backlash, as it used to say, but it sets up a very dangerous precedent for other member states. Yeah.